Yo, what's good, family? It's your boy, Big Yoda, aka Deshaun Yoda TV, and I want to greet y'all with a welcome and a powerful affirmation to know that you are powerful, you are great, and you will achieve anything that you want to do today and the rest of your life as long as you plan it out. Think positively, weigh out your options, and know that you can achieve anything that you put your mind to and knowledge to. And if you don't know something, don't take it personal. Take it as a learning curve and mastermind everything you can, and take failure as a grain of salt and know it's your best friend, because it'll never go away, but it'll always help you become great. Yo, my question for y'all today is, what is going to keep you from becoming homeless and stopping you from becoming the great person that you're supposed to be down the road? No, today. I have a few ideas of what that could be. Laziness, complacency, staying in one spot that you think is safe because of what you've seen others that's been there for decades, the quote unquote veterans of the homeland. We have to start taking our lives by the bull and by the grain and understand, like, okay, we won't fail. That's part of it. But would you rather fail betting on yourself or fail by building somebody else's dream on a regular? You go to work faithfully every single day, every week, because you have a reliable, dependable check, so we think. Then the end of 2019 happened, and we all know what happened. It shook the world in 2020. So what is going to be the icebreaker for you mentally to get the ball rolling in your mind to think about, I wonder if I can do this. No, I can do this. Change the words up a little bit and see what you all can do. And I'll give you a little backdrop about what made me start even this conversation, because I had an Uber today on the way home, and an old lady was talking to me about how there's countless people that she's picked up just in this 1 to 2 months that she's been doing Lyft and Uber that are homeless, but you would never know. Why? Because they carry themselves a certain way. Yeah, of course, they down bad. To the rest of the world, they down bad. But to them, they know what moment and position that they in. But yet they still go to work and they still provide for themselves, even though it's a lot harder because of how everything is going inflated with inflation in the last 40 years. It's pretty record breaking in my eyes. I wouldn't have never imagined at 28 years old seeing something to where you can't even maintain and barely scrape by making over $20 an hour. If you would have asked me that in my middle school years or high school years, I would have looked at you like you crazy. Ain't no way I'm not going to live a baller style lifestyle, not making above $20 an hour and live a nice life. But the older lady goes to continue to prove her point of telling me how there's so many people out here who are barely scraping by, and how herself is barely scraping by, and she is nervous about losing her account that's funding her life to take care of her nephews, her mama, and her mama's husband in one household. Now, if you think about an older lady and it's in her late 40s to mid 50s, you would think that why, no savings accounts, no way of leverage to help each other out. Does her mother not have disability, so on and so forth? But based off of how she was describing to me her scenario, a lot of it is out of her control and out of her mom's control. And it's like, how do we take the bull by the reins and make some kind of avenue for ourselves to have some kind of reliable emergency plan if something happens? Because based off of how she was telling me, if her account gets deactivated based off a mistake, that was an honest mistake, and this bad timing, no DUIs, no violence or kidnapping of any sort, just a simple mistake by mistiming going by a bus. That's all. And that could possibly be the one thing that takes her income away, that takes care of a whole household. Talk about stress, right? That's what I was saying. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, we are literally in a country, in a world now, where we are basically all one check away from being homeless, living on the street, or living on someone's couch, or even living outside of our cars. How does that not mess with your brain just even a second? And I run this by you guys not to make you second guess what opportunities or lack of opportunities you have, but to make you really think about what you were doing that you were taking for granted. Like for me, my mom made a good point to me multiple times, but it specifically stuck in the last 48 hours when she said it took her 19 years to make what I make in less than 3. 19 years to make the salary that I'm making in less than 2 years, and I don't have half the resume that she has in the medical field. But yet, still struggling. How does that work, and how do we come to this place in society now where we can both be making above $20 an hour and still possibly need someone to come in and help as a third party? How many other households are making less and not doing as good with money, financially saving, or just financial literacy in general? How bad are we really in every community? Every community. No race has been excluded at this point. Last time I checked, the Rona don't have no specific type of race that they like the most. These viruses don't have no specific race. It's almost everybody. Now you may have the exceptions, the reports that may say otherwise on the news, but do your research on what's really out here and see what's really going on. Talk to a nurse, a doctor, PA, personal assistant, therapist, physical therapist. See what they really interacting with every single day, and then come back to me with the details, right? But going back to the point of like how we have people like my mother, like the young lady that was driving me home, how they worked their whole lives to make a lifestyle of just simple, humble living a dead American dream. And yet they still have a different type of hope and motivation to where they know what the situation is. They know how their backs are against the wall, but they don't stop fighting. But yet we have people like myself, I've caught myself doing it, lacking in confidence or confirmation. It's always needed because of this entitlement that my generation is built with from the time they come out the womb. This nurturing, petty party. Oh, every time you fall, you need a Band-Aid. No. I remember coming from those generations of people that were tough on you, not because they didn't love you. Again, there are circumstances that are exceptions, but for the most part, they showed that tough love. A lot of kids don't even know what this tough love thing is. And I feel like the generations that are coming after me, like my brother's generations and even younger, are doomed not because of the lack of intelligence or the lack of will or drive. It's just the lack of skin. They don't have that tough outer skin mentally, physically, and even emotionally and spiritually to be able to handle what's coming to them in the future. And we all don't know the future. We can't predict it and that kind of thing. But I'm just going based off of the statistics and how everything is going downhill now, while I'm in my late 20s. So imagine what it's going to be like when they get to my age. You know what I mean? So prep yourself. Save what you can. I don't care if it's $5, $10. Save it. Because saving is what's going to get you where you can make that next step into investing. And then investing builds that bridge of opportunities that a lot of us just don't take advantage of when we can afford it, or at least give ourselves a chance to invest in some opportunity of the future for the generations after us, even if we don't get to see the fruits of our labor. The generations after us will. The knowledge of how you took one step to the next step and the third step and fourth and so forth, that led them to this generational wealth that we call big money, old money. I want my money to be old as my mother, but multiplied times 42. You do the math on that. I want it to last a long time, basically. And I say that with a certain type of arrogance, not in the way of making you feel some type of way, but to make you understand that I'm really driven by this. I don't want my nephews and for the younger sisters and any other siblings of my youth to have to deal with what my mama's dealt with, my grandparents had to deal with. Some of the things that I've been fortunate to go through, not because it was joyful and an awesome ride, but for the experience to know that you can go from a mud hole situation doing damn near slave work in a way, but then in modern times, doing hard work for less pay, but getting to a job where I'm at a desk, making more money than I would have made doing something else with more work required. But it's also built this complacency in my mind that goes back to my original question. How are we going to break this mold, this mentality of staying in the same place once we get comfortable? Because we've all had that 1 or 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs that really, really sucked. They didn't pay us worth nothing, but yet we still survived. So why not take this opportunity while you're in this good position of a complacency job that pays you well, or even the better excuse that I always hear. Oh, it pays decent, but the benefits, the insurance, cool. I'm down with that. But why not go ahead and take the opportunity to go ahead and get on the bandwagon and find a way to educate yourself, educate your children, your nieces and nephews, your siblings and friends, while you're working that complacency job, that safe job that's never safe, as you can see what's happened in the last 2 years, and let that pay for your education, pay for your opportunity, pay for your career. And nothing is ever guaranteed, so don't get me wrong. But I'd rather be on the side of not guaranteed, but still give myself a chance, than to be a quitter and to be a, oh, woe was me type of person. I can't live with it. I can't die by it. I got to live by chances that are unknown, because God didn't make nobody that's a coward. I understand risk is very heavy on the heart, but God built me with a tough skin around the heart. And yes, I'm stubborn, just like a lot of my listeners, but I know that my listeners are hardworking, motivated, strong-minded, but at times life happens. So that's why I come to y'all in all openness and humbleness and honesty and let you know, like, hey, I have the talent. I have the gift. A lot of us do, but we get stuck in this mud hole mentality of, I can't get out because of this, because of that. And it becomes excuses of an umbrella worth of opportunity that we just let fly away because we didn't want to take that step of, let me just see if this is going to work. Let me do the research on the percentages, or at least get your mind rolling a little bit down the hill to see what opportunities that can come up. If you find something that you really love doing, that can be turned into a career, that can turn into an opportunity of creating generational wealth. That's all I'm going to run by y'all today. I didn't want to run y'all ear for too long, but this episode's a little longer, but you see why. So just think about what is the opportunities that you're leaving on the table because you don't want to take a risk on yourself. When you take a risk every day, getting in your car, eating the food you eat, going to sleep, but you don't want to take a risk on yourself. God checked every box that you need to be here successfully. So why are you doubting them? Regardless of what religion you're in or what spirituality you believe in, the wave is the same. Belief. Let's go, family. Team Life Clarity. I love y'all. I'm out.